Welcome back. In fact, I should be welcoming myself back. I haven't made a video in quite some time. I'd like to give all of the new users a warm welcome too. Thank you for joining. I hope the journey that all of us take will be a very successful one. In this video, I want to address a lot of the questions that I've been receiving lately. I thought it would just be easier to make a video about it. Now, I have answered a lot of the questions directly to the users, but I thought because it is currently a common question that more people would actually be thinking about that. Yeah, a question I've been having lately mostly is there's a lack of trades. So some of you have only been using the system for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and there has been a lack of trades. Now, another question is that normal? Yes, that is normal. The EA will only trade if there is a trade setup. All right, so it is very strict, the criteria to open a trade. For the most part, we do expect one trade per symbol per week. So at default, we will be trading 5 symbols. Let me just go across these. So these symbols over here and here and here. All right, these are the symbols that we are trading. And yes, it is common to have sometimes only 2 trades. Other times we will have 7 trades, 9 trades per week. The average is calculated over a very long time period. So if I say average, I mean average annually. If I'm looking to make 10% monthly on average, that doesn't mean we're going to make 10% every single month. We might have a loss one month, we might have only 3% growth this month, and the next month we might have 15% growth, etc. Your growth is also going to be determined by your risk percentage. So if you trade 1% per trade, we'll be looking at approximately 100% growth in 12 months. Yeah, we can do the calculations and that works out to be approximately 8%, maybe a little bit more than 8% monthly. But because of compounding, it's not going to be linear. All right, you're not going to have 8, 8, 8, 8. It's going to be less in the beginning and more toward the end. And then obviously, if you do 2%, it's not going to be 20% growth. It's actually going to be more, because of compounding. And then at the same time, we do expect for every 1% risk, we do expect 10% drawdown annually. So there is going to be some point where we will have a drawdown period where it will be 10% or, depending on your risk size, a variation thereof. It's not going to be exactly 10%, it might be 8%, might be 12%, but it will be within a range of that. So yes, to answer the question, if this is normal, I wouldn't say it is to be expected, but yes, there's nothing wrong with the system. It's just been a quiet period to a degree. If we talk about a month ago, I believe the 7th of last month, that week, in fact, was a very, very busy week. I think we had 7 or 8 trades and not one of them hit stop loss. Very successful week. And that is kind of what I'm generally expecting to see. But also, that is out of the norm. Also, to have that large amount of trades. So we're going to have some weeks where we have a lot of trades, other weeks where we don't have as many. But in order to, I know a lot of people want to see more trades in general, and it does make sense. And I do understand where you are coming from. I also do understand that you are not familiar with the system or how it works. And that is something you'll only really understand by observing it over time, and confidence will grow after that. After a good month, you should have seen, it should have demonstrated itself properly to a degree where you can have a good feel of how it will perform and what you can expect. In order to increase the trade volume, I will be introducing more symbols. I have been holding back on adding more symbols, and it's simply due to after the 3.2, the version 3.2 update, where I introduced 2 more symbols, that actually gave us more problems with the cycling of these strategies. And to not make it too complicated, the solution is to not have more than 2 symbols per chart. So in this case, I've got Euro Pound, Euro USD, GBP, USD and gold, and so forth. And the reason I do that is because these strategies, every chart, every instance of an EA gets sent to a different core. So it means it'll cycle through the strategies in parallel as opposed to what we would consider series. So it's basically, instead of trying to cycle through 70 strategies at any given moment, it breaks it up and cycles through a few amount of strategies, but at the same time. I hope that makes sense. It's a bit of a convoluted way of doing things, but it has proven itself to be reliable. And when more strategies will be added, you'll just add more charts. So if we have a total of 7 or 8, it'll just be spread across 4 charts. You can, of course, add more charts. It'll share the load even more. Initially, when we had the problem, I wasn't sure how to address it. And one of these solutions was to share between terminals, but that isn't necessary. I have been doing my testing, and having multiple charts is more than sufficient to solve that problem from cycling through the strategies. If it's not set up correctly, you will miss out on trades, and that could be quite detrimental for your results at the end of the month, which we'll be getting to as well. So I want to address this signal account over here. This is the first signal that we've added from a user, and it's had some problematic starts. I want to cover what actually happened over here. Currently, it is at negative 12%, so it's minus $45. And the reason for that is right over here, we were at negative 5%, and it went down to 9%. And that is because of these trades over here, these 3 trades right over here. Now, what you can see is that all of them closed at exactly the same time, at 8 p.m. on the 16th. And the 16th of last month was a Friday. Okay, now this is an oversight from my side. The EA has the function to close trades on Friday. All right, so we have it here. Close all positions Friday evening. That was what triggered those trades to close. This was not an input then. Right, it's something I added a couple of months ago because first and foremost, this EA has been built for prop trading because that is mainly what I use it for. And my thought process was I use FTMO. I've got a swing account, so that is not a problem for me. But somebody else might not want to use FTMO. They might have their own prop firm that they want to use and they can't hold weekend trades. So this may have been a setting that they wanted to use. And I've added the function, but never added a input for it. Actually, I forgot about it and just kept going on with all of the other work. So what happened was, for this account, these trades closed in a loss. We can see these 3 Euro USD trades are closed in a loss, whereas they should have closed in profit right over here. All right, so we can see the exact same times, dates for entries. The exit though is on the 19th. So that would be the Monday. They closed on the 19th, right? The Monday. So they held over the weekend, and Monday morning they hit take profit, which would have led to, I don't know, what's that, $18 in profit, as opposed to the $12 a loss that it has taken. So instead of going down from this point, the account should have gone up. It would have made decent profit, would have been a few percent in the plus, 1 or 2%. And then we had this entire increase over here, right? So this is approximately 6%. So whatever that was, if that was 1 or 2%, would have been a 7, maybe 8% growth. And then we had another loss here. So let's say 3 to 12, so it's 9%. We would only, this account would only be realistically 1 to 2% in the negative. And all of that is due to this, literally those 3 trades causing this sort of havoc. So that has been addressed. I have been working close with the user, making sure that everything is now correct and the account will recover nicely. It was with this account that we also realized that it wasn't taking all of the trades. I think this was on the 7th. We can see the date here, the 7th of last month. It should have had some significant increase. It missed all of the gold trades. We had 3 gold trades that day. All 3 of them hit take profit. This account would have easily been 5-6% in the plus just from those trades. So in theory, if all of the trades were taken and the Euro USD trades did not close in a negative, this account would be floating profit, would be sharing approximately the same profit that I made last month, and that is just, I think, just over 3%, 3.2% profit for a prop firm, for example, for a prop account. That is not horrible, depending on the account size, of course. That is what happens when, first of all, we miss trades, and then some unforeseen logic closes our trades prematurely, which has just been really unfortunate with this account. All of these losses are legitimate losses. These were supposed to happen. This growth was supposed to happen. So, but unfortunately, it just had less of a cushion to handle, to take these blows. So yeah, it is important for people to see what has happened. Not everyone is going to be running under perfect conditions, right? Someone is going to make a slip up, especially in the beginning, either not setting up their system correctly and either missing out on positive trades, meaning that when the negative trades happen, you've got no cushion, right? It'll cause you to go into a negative quite significantly, like we have here at 12%. So yeah, that is just something to keep in mind. Now we do have two Signal accounts up. These are from different, from separate users. So this is the next Signal account. This one started trading on the 20th last month. Now this is fine. This is to be expected. It didn't have the good trades earlier in the month. So if it had all of the good trades earlier, all of this would be wonderful. It would have had a decent amount of growth. This is not a problem at all. This account will grow significantly rather quickly, that I'm very confident of. So yeah, both the users are using IC markets, which is also important. Both of them, are on IC markets. Very important to use IC markets for this. If you want to use a different broker, you're going to have to do a lot of testing. Okay, you're going to have to do testing and make sure that your results are what you want them to be. I want to show you this quickly. So I've added a installation guide over here. And this basically, so we start over here, welcome, important notice, very, very important. The reason being is that quote differences normally isn't a factor. But because of the amount of calculations the EA would do, you can have where a trade would trigger for one broker, but won't trigger for another broker because that criteria was just a micrometer away from triggering, and now the trade is no longer valid. So because of the, I wouldn't say complexity, but just because of all of the confirmations that need to work together, some trades will not be taken. Also, your broker spreads, all right? So for example, we might have these same trades executed here. This is from a actual user that sent me the screenshot and said this is what the backtest looks like for him. So I sent him this and said, well, this is what the screenshot looks like for me for the same period. And this is 100% what happens if you don't, number one, use the correct broker. I'm not saying IC Markets is the only broker, but it's the only broker that I've done thorough testing on. So if you have another broker that you want to use, you prefer to use that, do a lot of testing, do your back testing, do it on real ticks for at least 5 years, okay? Make sure that your results are decent. If they aren't decent, it's probably going to give you horrible results forward testing. So yes, just make sure that when you decide to use a different broker that you do thorough testing. You can always reach out to me if you need some help with that. But yes, always make sure that your testing is correct, because I can only account for what I use, right? So if you use something different, there's no way I can account for that. I don't know what people use at the end of the day. If possible, use IC Markets. If not, do a lot of testing. You can also use FX Blue. So over here, we can copy trades using a trade copier. I believe one or two users use this method because they can't use IC markets in their country. And then I just have other instructions, just basically going through how it needs to be set up. So just be very familiar with this. It needs to be set up correctly. This is not just precautionary. You will miss out on trades if it's not set up correctly. Yep, join the community. Here's a link over here. It's the community group where all of the members, or technically anyone can join, because I do know that some people have intent to join, but they just want to gauge how things are going. All right, you just want to see, okay, is everyone making money? No one's complaining yet. That's sort of an arrangement, and that's fair. I mean, do your due diligence. Don't take my word for it. See what everyone else is saying. So yeah, you can go ahead and join the group. I would recommend you do, because I'll make announcements there. I'm probably going to link this video there as well, because this is relevant for that, for the community. It's not really relevant for anyone else. So you will be up to date there, and if any systems are released, you will know in advance in the group, probably a month beforehand, because what I'll do for the community is for the first 24 hours when something is released, so the new system coming in a few months, it'll be very cheap for the first 24 hours for the community to get it soon, quickly, and after that the price will then be what it's going to be for everyone else. So yeah, it will be wise to be part of that group, and then also just see what everyone else is experiencing, if people are experiencing problems or if everything is going well. The community will be leaving comments. So yeah, that is that. And then one last thing is, recently I had someone say, well, yeah, the EA is essentially a black box, so you can't change anything. And yes, that is, I'm going to show you something. Okay, we start over here at 11:05 with our strategies, right? Each of these are parameters. Each of these, if these values are changed, will change the strategy behavior, and in turn how the symbol will, execute trades, what the outcomes will be. Okay, every single one of these. So we started at 11:05, and I can keep going until over here. Here we have until 3782. So if we subtract 11:05 from this, we've got over 2,600 parameters. If I was to make each and every one of these editable, we would have over 2,000 of these inputs. Over 2,000. Okay, I didn't hard code the inputs because of malicious intentions. It's because how are you going to know what to change? Do you really think you'll be able to optimize it better? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't want you to change anything, because if you contact me and you're now very upset because you're losing money, but you've changed settings, well, how am I going to know how to fix that? Right? How am I going to know what to look for? There's just, it's 2,000 inputs is no joke. I work with these. I have a structure that I work with, and in fact, I use a specialized program to help me keep track of what I'm doing in the code itself, so that I know which I have optimized, which I haven't, which I need to go back to. So I have a particular system. I don't even optimize using this. I've got a specialized EA that is dedicated only for optimization. It is a very convoluted, a very in-depth process to get these strategies, number one, optimized, and also using out of sample period. I always have a 10 or even longer year out of sample period, because if I optimize from, 2015 to today's date, we don't know how it's going to behave beyond that, because we don't know what happens in the future. So ideally, I want to optimize latest until 2015, so that we have from 2015 to 2025, which is an out of sample period. The EA cannot know what has happened there, because it did not have the opportunity to learn for that during optimization. So we have a 10-year out of sample period. If it does well for 10 years out of sample, and consistently, right? We're not looking for the most amount of money, we're looking for the most consistency. That's how I have worked the system. So if we, for example, have a 10-year period that is very consistent out of sample, why is it not going to continue to be consistent for at least the next 2, 3, even 5 years? I don't want to re-optimize this, not anytime soon. This has been a huge portion of my life has gone into this, where I just haven't been outdoors because I've been optimizing and massively dedicated to this. So that is the reason why the inputs will be hard coded. If I could, if for logical reasons it would make sense to have them editable, I would have done that. But in this case, there's no practical way of doing that without having a ridiculously overwhelming amount of inputs. And at the same time, if I add more symbols, this is just going to increase. It's just going to become more and more and more and more. And I mean, this code is already going for 6,000 lines, and it's not bloated at all. Everything in the code is intentional. It's all working together. So yeah, I thought I would just mention that. It was only one comment, but I thought maybe somebody else is thinking the same thought process. Why are there no inputs? Why can't we change this? It's because it's not just 3 things or 5 things or 10 things. You'll have to change 2,000 things, right? And if you mess that up, it's going to mess everything up for that symbol, right? So that entire symbol is now going to be useless. And I mean, it could just become this horrendous rabbit hole. So yeah, in order to keep it nice and clean for you guys and easy to navigate, this is what it's going to look like. We might have an additional input coming in here or there, something small, something minor, and a bit of cleanup whenever you guys recommend things or inform me of a problem, something that I've overlooked, because keep in mind, there is a lot that can be overlooked, especially when I do updates. Yeah, more symbols will be coming so that we just overall have a bit more, even more trade volume, and hopefully the quiet periods will not be as quiet, but the busy periods will be very busy. What is challenging about adding symbols is it's very important for me that it doesn't contribute to drawdown. So it's fine if it has its drawdown. It shouldn't contribute to the overall drawdown, at least not significantly. So these symbols need to offset drawdown. For example, if we have a drawdown period with EURUSD on Tuesday, the other symbol should hopefully be offsetting that drawdown so that we don't overall have larger and larger drawdown by having more trades. So it is quite a challenge. Now, this isn't guaranteed. However, I do try my best to make sure that we limit, that we try and make as much money as possible with the least amount of risk. And I know that is what everyone is trying to do. So I'm just trying to do that successfully. And yeah, so that is all that I really have for today. I just wanted to address a lot of these smaller things. I thought it would be better just to do a video because someone 2 weeks later might ask the same question and they can now just watch the video. They can now, hopefully if they watch the video, they'll have the answers to that. Yeah, as of recording, it is June 5th, so it's Thursday today, and it is NFP Friday tomorrow. So the AUDCAD trade, I will be moving the stop loss to break even because tomorrow all trades will be closed at 12 at lunchtime, broker time. So tomorrow this time all trades will be closed. So just move positions to break even if possible, or else even try and close it out sooner when you do have a bit of profit, because I don't see this current AUDCAD trade, I don't see it hitting take profit anytime soon. It's just been ranging. And so I don't like to close positions, but yeah, I don't want to carry over. This position has already been open for a week, almost a week at this time of recording. If you haven't joined the group yet, go and join the group. You don't have to leave any comments, or you can always mute the group and check in after a week or so. But yeah, it's just a great way for you to know what is going on whenever you, even on a need to know basis. If you just want to go and check in once a week and see what's going on, what's new, that will be the place to find all of that information. If anyone else has any questions, feel free to ask me. wherever on MKL5 in the comments, in the group. Yeah, I'll be there. And yeah, I hope you guys have an awesome day. Bear with these slow times. We can't always have awesome times, but trust me, it will be worth it when the trades come. It always has been. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.